Hello, everyone, and welcome to our broadcast today.
Yes, Joelle is the manager of the Student Outreach Department. And on my right is Maria Montoya.
Hello, how are you all? Hopefully well.
Yes, and she is the director, or sorry, the manager of Career Services. I've just given her my title. So I'm stepping up. There we go. So we have a lot of fun in student outreach in the whole embodiment of it. And one of our purposes is to build that community within students from the beginning process of the enrollment all the way through their life at Bryan and then continued afterwards with our alumni department. And so we wanted to kind of talk a little bit about that today and open it up to some questions if you might have any. Uh, just to hear what you might say with Bryan University and going to an online school and how that impacts you. Joy, you want to talk about the onboarding process?
Absolutely, Patrick. Thank you very much. So, at the beginning of your enrollment, we like to get our students acquainted with the online classroom environment. And we do that through a process that we call Walk to Class. So, we will be contacting you even before your very first day of class and scheduling a workshop in a group setting, just like the one that we're in right now, where we will teach you how to utilize the technology that you'll be using as an online student. We'll teach you about all of the services that are available to you as an online student. You'll get acquainted with our student outreach team, who will be working with you throughout your first term and beyond, but most intensely during your first term, where we will be checking in on you periodically. We'll also be doing what we call the College Student Inventory Survey, where before your first day of class, you'll be taking a survey that isn't like a typical survey where you say, oh, I like this or I don't like that. You're going to be telling us a little bit about yourself and the type of student that you think that you are, where your strengths are, where are there areas for opportunity, what kind of resources do you have, what kind of resources do you need. And then we go over that material during your first week of class. And if we discover that there are some services that would coordinate well with what your needs are, or ones that would support your success, we would connect you to those services within your very first week of class. And that's our way of getting you off on the right foot here at Bryan
Sure.
University. We want to make sure that you're aware, of what you need to be successful and to have those services there for you from your very first day of class.
Nice. Yeah, it's been a really great impact to the student life, making sure that they're prepared before they start school. Having an IT overview of your computer to ensure that it matches our requirements, to make sure you understand, like Joel talked about, all the software. It's really simple and has a lot of great features that allow you to be the best student you can be. Great statistical data that you can look at yourself on, allows you to communicate and collaborate with other students, and it allows you to really take advantage of our learning model, which is prepare, collaborate, and apply. Our prepare model is all that type of information you need to do to be able to do what you have to know and be able to collaborate with your classmates. So it may be reading assignments, reviewing some YouTube accounts, or looking at different web pages. And then you're going to collaborate. The collaboration is our key model that separates us from other schools. You are in a live synchronous class where you're communicating and having dialogue with classmates live on camera, just like we are today. And you're actually physically talking back and forth with people. May it be in private chat box, may it be on your webcam, or even in group sessions outside the classroom. We have Blackboard Instant Messenger that allows students to create study groups. You can get with people throughout the United States, come together at one time, and turn on your microphones and have a conversation about yesterday's homework assignment. And then again, at the final portion of our learning model is the apply. And this is where you apply all that you've learned in the prepare, when you collaborate with your classmates and your instructors, and now you apply it on your homework and your quizzes on a weekly basis. So the whole learning model has set up you for success in our school.
I wanted to mention that another means of collaboration that you'll get access to before you even start your first day of class is our Bryan University on the Hub on Facebook, Bryan University Hub on Facebook. And that's our online Facebook community Our students connect there, they form clubs, they form interest groups, they share, what's going on in their lives. With the fitness students in particular, we get a lot of exciting posts from them, their latest competition, students, sharing different workouts that they do or different programs. And so that's another great way that our students have to stay connected with each other and begin to build those types of networking relationships that can carry over into your career building experience.
Right. And the things that's interesting is to see them really communicating with each other, where someone may say, "Hey, I have a real question on number 14. Anyone in this class?" And next thing you know, you see other students go, "Boom, boom, boom," and start answering questions. So it's like your own little tutor outside of the classroom. So as long as you join in, that's the important thing, is make sure that you are engaged in all the aspects of Bryan that it has to offer for students while in their program. Using the Blackboard Instant Messenger, using the Facebook account. I know a lot of people don't like Facebook, but it really is impactful for you if you use it for the right tools. You may not want to have all your outside work friends or anything else on there, but have your classmates. Create an account that is just for your school. It allows you to engage with your classmates, people who are almost done with their program, people who are just starting. It allows you to have that real great communication with everybody. And then as you move further into your program, we have a course that's designed to help you prepare for the end result. A lot of times what happens is 18 months, or depending on how long your program might be, is a long distance, and we kind of lose that focus along the way. So we want to start focusing on that end result, which is placement, and seeing how that is. So we start working with you early in your program. That's where Maria's department comes in, and she goes ahead and we'll work with you and starts with you that career class. Why don't you talk about that?
Absolutely. So, in the Career Strategies course, you have an opportunity while you are still in your program to go through the modern job search process. Now, the reason why I put an emphasis on modern is because, as you know, economic times are pretty different than what we've experienced in the past. And consequently, employers don't necessarily utilize the same strategies in hiring people as they did in the past. So job seekers have had to change their strategies to identify job openings and to find professional homes. So in the Career Strategies course, we walk you through what it takes to successfully complete the modern job search. Now, there are many components of the job search that are pretty traditional. For example, your cover letter, your resume, dealing with interviews, how to navigate them successfully. However, there are other aspects such as the job identification, search process, acquisition that are different. So the course takes you through that. That's really just the tip of the iceberg, though. There's a lot of quality service that we provide that really does enrich our graduates. So one of those services, for example, is professional development coaching. As you approach the end of your program, we will reach out to you to meet on a pretty consistent basis to start getting you in the mindset of the professional within your field. So not just let's get a cover letter and let's get a resume ready, but truly, what are your long-term professional goals? Where are you right now? What is each step necessary along the way? What skills do you have to acquire? What additional tools do you have to acquire so that you can reach that long-term goal? I tend to use the analogy that professional development in one's career is much like baking a cake. There are multiple ingredients in a cake, especially if it's a chocolate cake.
Yeah,
Makes it even better.
double Dutch chocolate.
Double Dutch chocolate cake. There are multiple ingredients, and if you try to make a chocolate cake with flour alone, it's going to be a pretty disgusting chocolate cake. You're not even gonna have paper mache. You're gonna have a dry mouth is what you're gonna have. Same thing goes with your career development. Your education is a critical component of your professional development. Development is much like flour is in a cake. But we also have to work on additional skills to make sure that you are a well-rounded, completely comprehensive professional. That way you can enter your field very successfully.
Definitely. I consider you the egg of the cake.
Oh.
Yeah.
The emulsifier.
To bind.
Yeah, she's the binding agent. She is the binding agent to your cake.
Applesauce if you're vegan.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's really important. I think when people look at the career aspect of going to a school that is a very job specific career,
Mhm.
they're looking for that end result. And I think the challenge that students have a lot of times is they forget that there's a ladder to that result.
Mhm.
It is not just I walk out the door, boom, I'm in there. But there is a growth to it, and that growth is exciting.
Very much
That
so.
it starts early and you start to build, but the foundation of that growth is your education.
Absolutely.
So that you can't climb that ladder without that education first. So
Absolutely true. But going back to the cake analogy, you cannot have a delicious double Dutch chocolate cake without chocolate. Same
right.
goes with your education and your career. You cannot have, especially with the programs that we offer, it is next to impossible to embark on these careers without having the educational background underneath your belt.
Yeah, definitely. So chocolate cake all around. When you enroll, we'll get you a chocolate, Mr. B. So we want to open this up to questions. I see Erin Standriner is in the room. Is there any questions that we can answer for you about onboarding, or questions that you might have had or heard before about onboarding to Bryan University?
Something I did want to mention about the onboarding process is, in addition to the walk to class, we also have an orientation where students have an opportunity to interact with their program leadership. Oftentimes, our campus president will be involved, sometimes a guest speaker. So again, you're slowly being integrated into the campus community throughout your enrollment process. First, your admissions representative is educating you on the nuts and bolts of the school, what we have to offer, what your interest, what we may have to coordinate with that interest, and then we start to teach you, about Bryan University. During that walk to class and during orientation, you'll learn about our new learning management system, which is our online learning platform. Patrick was talking about it a little bit. It utilizes the collaborate, apply model, prepare, collaborate, apply model from beginning to end. And it's so interactive. And that's kind of like your fourth step of getting integrated into Bryan University. Once you receive your login credentials, and again, that's before your first day of class, you'll be able to go on to learn Bryan. You'll be able to communicate with your fellow students in your classrooms on the discussion boards. So again, sometimes I have students, or students that are beginning classes, and they're very concerned about feeling isolated,
Right.
and not, part of I need to be part of a real classroom, a lot of them say. And what I've found with the online environment here at Bryan University is there are so many more opportunities to collaborate here than actually you would find
Right.
in a typical classroom, especially during your first term of classes. Everyone who's gone to that brick and mortar school, you know what it's like to sit in a big lecture hall for your general education classes, maybe taught by a TA or
Right.
something.
Right.
And not a lot of opportunity for collaboration, but here you're going to be interacting with your instructors and your students from the very first day of class.
Yeah, it's a forced collaboration. It's part of our learning model. It's not like, oh, well, if you want to talk to students and get help, no, no, no. You have to talk to them.
Yes.
It is a part of your grade.
Yes.
So it's a way to build friendships and a way to build a bond with your students. And from day one, your first day, the first whole class, first like 30 minutes is, tell me about yourself.
Right.
How does fitness involve? How does HIMC? All the different types of degrees we have. That's all the teachers are going to be talking about it, is finding out how you and make yourself unique. And then everyone gets to know you at that process and you start to build friends there.
Moreover, it's fascinating for me to see as people approach the end of their degrees to see how they've forged that friendship. So oftentimes we'll get a call saying, "Oh, I heard so and so got a job at this place. Could you give me some assistance getting in there?" So we know that these friendships are very long lasting. As a matter of fact, we have several alumni groups and professional groups that are formed on LinkedIn or Facebook
Right.
and various places where people just want to keep in touch with each other, even after the program has ended, to just see, how are you doing? How's life? How's your family? Beyond this crazy journey together through school. So it's very cool to see.
And there's multiple ways that students interact with each other outside the classroom. not only through the Blackboard Collaborate, but we have an instant messaging service called Blackboard Instant Messenger. And all the students within each degree is listed. And so you can find your classmates and you can instant message them if they're online. You can create group chats to where you can bring up to like 5 or 6 people into one chat box and either use the chat feature or better yet, the video, and turn your microphones on and all chat live. So who needs to have long distance telephone service anymore?
Right.
You have the Blackboard Instant Messenger. So it really is a great tool as a study tool as well as a communication to other students without having to share your phone number.
And you'll notice that there are so many opportunities to connect digitally, and you're going to be exposed to these methods. We're going to teach you how to utilize them. So sometimes I get students that are like, I'm not a technology person.
Right.
Trust me, you will learn how to utilize this technology. It's very simple to operate. I find that usually within the first week of classes, even the most challenged student that has not been exposed to utilizing the internet daily or email is feeling very comfortable with their classes.
Yeah, they're very user friendly. I've always tested on my mom, because if my mom can do it, I know anyone can do the internet. So when we were launching it, I always tested everything on my mom first. But no, and it's like the great thing is you're able to reach out to your teachers before and after classes. They have study hours. What's it called again? Office hours.
Office hours,
Sorry,
yeah.
they have office hours that they post within the class. Now, there's other ways to communicate. If you want to see them in person, you can join a Blackboard session during their office hours. But there's also within Learn Bryan a way to communicate directly to your teachers without having to use an email. This tracks it and keeps it always active within that shell. So if you never know with an email, did they ever receive it? Well, you know when it's been seen, you know when it's been delivered because it's right there for them to see. And it comes up with a big notification saying you have one message from a student. So they can see all those messages. It's a really great tool.
Moreover, as they were talking about Blackboard Instant Messenger, your instructors are on there as well.
Yeah.
So you have the opportunity to send your instructors an instant message so long as they're logged in.
Right.
Like us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, we're always there.
And whenever you have questions, I mean, this is the thing about student outreach. We are strictly, here for you. We're here from the beginning to the end, and then beyond.
Right.
So it's not like you ever leave. We're like your best friends through school.
You're stuck with us.
We're also your enemy when we call you to tell you why you haven't been in class. So we're going to ask you questions. We're going to challenge you. It's not meant to be challenging, but we're going to challenge you to be the best person you can be. And that means you need to show up.
Right.
You need to show up, participate, and then you're going to see the reward from it.
We just got a question.
Yes.
Great. So the question reads, one of the biggest questions is about placement during or after the program. How much can you offer us? Excellent question. Very excellent question. So we wouldn't exist if we didn't want to see you succeed. That is the foundation of our mission. We really want to help you liberate your innate greatness. And we know that that has some professional implications. So know that fundamentally that's why we're here. That said, we can offer a great deal of assistance with regard to placement. As I alluded to earlier, there are the more traditional components of professional development that we will offer assistance with, such as resume, cover letter, interviewing skills, etc. There are also the more career counseling aspects and services that we offer, such as ongoing professional development coaching. So we're happy to offer that to you as well. This all, however, requires you to participate, right? I could write the best resume in the world, but without your feedback, I don't know whether or not the information I'm writing is accurate, whether it's meaningful, or whether it's truly representative of you without your feedback. Same goes for interviewing skills. I cannot critique someone's interview if they don't show up for their mock interview, right? Nor can I do that if they're not being honest with me about, how they're feeling about the interview, if they're nervous, what are the things that they tend to fumble on, etc. So there's always a dance, there's always a dialogue in any type of advising, and I imagine Joelle could say the same in working with students as they onboard, that there's a great deal that we can do in terms of placement and honing your professional development, but it certainly takes your presence in order to accomplish that. In other words, long story short, a job will not be handed to you without your persistence.
Definitely. Another question came up is, will we be able to answer questions before the enrollment? Most definitely. Often we have admissions transfer a student over to us for us to answer questions on the career services side,
Absolutely.
possibly where we've had placements before in a certain area,
Mhm.
what type of skills do we offer the students,
Mhm.
what abilities are we able to provide.
Mhm.
Students want to understand more about the community. We're here and we're available to answer those questions for you.
Absolutely.
We actually reach out to you.
Yeah.
That's part of our onboarding process right there. Is we're reaching out to you and introducing ourselves to you and getting you engaged in our community.
Right.
And with regard to career related questions, I've gotten stuff as specific as, what is my job market like in this particular city? And those are things that I'm really happy to help you with, to identify that specific type of information. That way you can really have all of the facts as you're making decisions. We want you to make an educated decision. We want you to have all the information available
Right.
so that you can start building the right road to whatever career path you choose.
And the thing that's great is we do it with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you're going to learn how to do this independently.
Right.
We could give you a nice, polished standard resume,
Right.
that would, look just fine, but it would not set you apart from the pack competitively.
No, not at all.
It would not give you the skill set to go into that interview and sell yourself and match up to what you've presented in your resume.
Right.
That's something that I've noticed in working with students on their career development. It's that hand-in-hand process. They have to be involved in fleshing out the resume, and then speaking to that resume in a mock interview.
Absolutely.
And they feel so much more comfortable after that process has taken place.
Right. And it's also about that collaboration. It's how we collaborate. It's our learning model. It's everything we do from the beginning. It's just your placement follows our learning model as well. Prepare, collaborate, and then apply.
Right.
It's
Very
the
well
exact
said.
it's the exact learning model.
Mhm.
You're going to prepare for school. You're going to collaborate while you're in school, and at the end, you're going to apply everything you did for that interview. So,
Or even for just your experience with career services, you would prepare in your career strategies course. You would collaborate with us to figure out what your own brand is, what's your approach going to be toward identifying a position, who's within your network, etc. And then you're going to apply for positions.
perfect.
We've been talking a lot about success, but every now and then we do have students that stumble. Life events come up that can conflict with someone's education or their career development. And I do want to reassure our students that we have support systems in place.
Sure.
We have a professional counseling group called Student Resource Services that's free and confidential for our students to utilize, so that they can address those life issues and work through them, and hopefully get back on track with their education. Also,
that's available 24 hours a day,
Yeah.
7 days a week. So it's not something, if in the middle of the night you're just having just a breakdown, you
Right.
have someone to talk to.
And who hasn't experienced that in college?
Right.
Just about everyone. You reach that breaking point.
Right.
You have so many stressors. You have
That's
your
Taco Bell.
schoolwork.
That's what Taco Bell is for.
Taco Bell is not the elixir to solve all issues.
That might be student recourse
I
services.
wish it was. I wish it was. But the great thing is that we realize what a challenge in education is, and especially adult learners. It's a lot of balance involved, and so we have that support system. We have the student outreach team to communicate with, and your instructors to communicate with if something comes up where you feel like you're not going to be able to attend classes.
Right.
We want you to share that with us so we can work with you and problem solve with you, and hopefully maintain your enrollment and keep you on track in your program of study.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of times people think because something comes up in their life that that's the end all. Well, I guess I need a job.
Right.
Well, that's not it.
Mm-mm.
There is options, and you may not know all your options. So we truly encourage you to reach out to student outreach and let us explore all the options that are at your disposal. And we want to make sure that you make the right decision for you. It's not about the right decision for me. It's not the right decision for Joelle.
No.
It's the right decision for you. And we want to make sure that we're a part of that decision-making process so that you're making the right decision. With that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and we appreciate your time. And welcome to Bryan University.